Do 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 do. See you tomorrow. Do 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 do. See you tomorrow.
It does make me laugh every time. Hi, says who via. We are Maureen and Dan. We are coming to you literally moments after the debate ended for our reaction episode. Maureen just ate a little mini ice cream cone in about 1 second. We took a break to start this from the debate room, and you came back with a little mini ice cream cone, and then you had no more mini ice cream cone.
There's a little guy.
I'm really jealous of you and your mini ice cream cone.
Nice, really dark chocolate cone.
Yeah, it looked good. That was like a high class drumstick.
Yeah, it's a Trader Joe's. They make a good little cone.
They have good ice cream at Trader Joe's.
They have really good little.
Their chip witches are amazing.
I usually have one of those cones, Dan. Even though the serving size is 3, we normally have 1. But tonight I had 3.
Yeah, you did. That's right.
Do you know why, Dan?
Because you just sat through the debate with me, Maureen Johnson. First of all, because this is actually coming out before the recording of us at the debate. Town Watch, you don't need to listen to that.
You don't need to listen to it.
It's 90 minutes mostly of silence, what I would describe as stunned silence.
Yeah.
With occasional groaning. And at about 90 minutes in, a bout of just pure panic terror laughter.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's Town Watch. Have fun. Usually they're better than that. If you give money to us,
right,
I hope you know that the Town Watch is usually better than that.
We thought there'd be more to kind of react to.
No, because ultimately the reaction was the existential realization that things are not good. Okay,
so here's the thing, Dan.
Yeah.
There's going to be some blessed people listening to this who did not watch it.
Yeah, I wish I was you.
Right? Like, think about how great that is for them.
I said during the recording, I have had a very, very difficult June for reasons that I'm not going to get into. And today was a whole series of wins. Today was like amazing. Plus the weather was incredible, but like everything lined up great. It was one of those days that you are just like, I wish I could bottle this day up because it's so good. And I undid all of that.
Yeah.
In 90 minutes.
Yeah. Whereas I had a day that was a real car crash.
Yeah, you did.
I have a thing that I have to turn in a whole bunch of information on this book tomorrow, and about a week's worth of work vanished. Just vanished. And I needed to be working all day, and we managed to recover a little bit of it, but it was a really weird, complicated computer problem that had to do with the fact that I got a new computer and the two computers were sort of fighting as to where something should be saved.
Oh, perfect.
And so what happened was it broke the file and like lost a bunch of material. But so I actually had a full like breakdown middle of the day where I was like, oh my God, it's just gone. All this stuff I did is gone. So then we had some dinner, and then because I had a busy week, I've been kind of on the edge of like a little flare. I had the presence of mind to take a little bit of Ativan, which I can do if the circuits are running too hot. And I said, I feel like I only deploy about 2 of these a year. Tonight, just me, that might be the night. And can you see, it's not that it made me tired. It's just that it made me very level.
Yeah. I mean, that was you knew yourself there.
I knew that
you deserved to give yourself a little gift for that, because
I knew that I would feel pretty
understood.
Sick. And I also took 2 Advil. So, I knew it wasn't. Now, we both knew it wasn't going to be good, Dan.
No, we definitely knew it was going to be bad.
But we didn't expect what we got.
No.
And here's why. And if you've probably read about it or heard, you'll have read or heard about it by now.
I'm sure.
I'll bet that somebody will have told you about it. what happened was it began and they came out. Biden came out kind of looking like around like he does sometimes now, like, like that kind of strange look that he does
Yeah.
sometimes. And then Trump came out going, "Arr," making the weird faces, and that like the weird frog face and the kissy face and all the faces. And then it began with Biden, and they asked him some question, and then he came to the microphone and started to answer everything in this weird papery voice, in this very strange cadence, and it was very, very low and whispery and papery, and we were like, "Oh, what is happening?"
Yeah.
And he could barely look up. He looked sick as shit.
Yeah.
He looked like he was gonna die. Like, truly, he looked like he was having a genuine, real medical issue through some of that. Like, he was maybe having trouble breathing. Like, he was doing a lot of mouth breathing. So like he's congested or something, and he just looked like he looked like he had a fever.
Yeah, he looked real sick.
He looked like he had COVID. I would not be shocked to find out that he has COVID right now.
Yeah. Which would be ironic because Donald Trump had COVID their last debate. But and then they would split screen, and because he was so sick, he was mouth breathing in the split screen. So the split screen, he basically the entire time had the look that he was being shown the moment that he dies by some sort of malevolent specter.
He was kind of looking down and off to the side, and he had this kind of stare, and he was kind of taking these breaths. It was everybody, like there was a collective shock.
Yeah.
Where everyone was like, "Oh, what the fuck is happening?" Like,
right.
he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it.
And the problem with that, Maureen, is that the right has been pumping a narrative for the last 3 years that this man is doddering and delusional and incapable of actually doing anything. And they have used selective editing, and they have, told full-on lies and all of this shit to prove their point. And then it's like the caricature that they had created walked out on stage and did 90 minutes live.
Yeah.
Like, that was the worst possible thing that could have happened. It's clear that Joe Biden has a cold or maybe has COVID, but he is clearly sick. He does not normally talk like this, like he is an older gentleman, but he is not wavering on the edge of death. And yet that is the man that was out on stage for 90 minutes. And that's a problem.
I will say, and we'll get to like how this went, because we can actually summarize how it went. Here's how it went. Biden looked like he was going to die. He fumbled a bunch of stuff. Like, he just seemed sick. He just seemed like he was unwell. And so Trump went out there, and it seemed like he just did his normal weird stuff.
Yeah.
But in kind of a measured voice. But he was like still like he was saying things that were as crazy as ever.
Yeah.
Like they were just as nuts. Yep. But he just kind of said it, and he just didn't look like he was going to die. And Biden looked like he just wasn't able to like pick up or like zing him that often, or you know, like it wasn't like it was just, but when they did, it was weird.
Yeah.
Because as we will get into, I don't even know how to, guys, at one point he's just said things like, "You had sex with a porn star, and you said you were like 220 and 6'5", and like look at you what you are, real," like stuff like that happened. Trump just madness, just madness, like saying they're gonna kill, like they're gonna take babies and kill them, like it's and then at around let's call it the 80-minute mark, these two guys, when asked about I believe, the climate or something, got into an argument about golf. Who was better
I
at
believe
golf?
that was about childcare.
That was about childcare?
Yeah. They spent, I believe the climate question, they just spent arguing over who was the worst.
Yeah.
It was back and forth and back and forth. No, you're the worst. 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 No, you're the worst.
Yeah,
You know?
they
And-
actually had a conversation that was who's worse.
Yeah. And then they got into a very large argument about their golf swings and their golf handicaps.
Yes. And to which Trump just started, like, his mic was supposed to be cut off, but for some reason CNN was like, turn the mic back on just for this part, because he just I know your swing. It was, these guys got into argument about golf for a full 30 seconds.
Oh yeah,
possibly
definitely.
longer.
Yeah.
Possibly longer. It was a surprisingly long time that they fought about golf.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just want to read you. Apparently, Dan, the real wildness is happening on TV right now.
Mm-hmm. The spin room shit or something.
Because CNN is having existential crisis live on air over what leftist has been trying to make clear for months. Let's see here. MSNBC talking about panic, talking about removing Biden.
Boy.
Like, they're all discussing removing
So
Biden.
What we're saying is it went well.
Van Jones drops the bomb, notes that there's time for the party to, quote, figure out a new way forward if he will allow us to do that. People saying he's not the nominee yet. We still have time. The CNN panel sounds like a wake.
Great. I mean, I did say a couple of episodes ago, or maybe in the last episode or whatever, like, this was Biden's one chance to change the trajectory of things. And I guess maybe he did, but I didn't mean it that way.
CNN John Kings says Democrats started freaking out about Biden's performance right away and already talking about what they need to do going forward. Says they kept saying, quote, oh my God, throughout the entire event.
Yeah, you know who else did? Us.
Everybody. Absolutely.
Everyone.
Absolutely everybody. Absolutely. And I just wanted to be clear that Trump was batshit insane.
Yeah.
But
everything that came out of his mouth was madness.
Oh.
But it didn't matter.
Nothing mattered. There was nothing to catch him. There was nothing, you guys. There was nothing. It just rolled on. It just rolled on while we sort of wondered whether or not Biden might actually, I don't know, like, die while in the middle of this debate.
Like, if he was sick, they could have redone it, but they were worried that would make him look bad.
Well, it's a good, we wouldn't want him to look bad.
If we cancel him, we say that he's sick, then we're proving the Republican narrative right, that he's frail.
Yes.
So instead, let's make him look terrible.
Dan, for fun, I'm just going to go over to...
You don't know what fun is, I don't think.
I know what fun is, and I'm just going over to see. Let's see here. What's happening?
What are you doing? We've already done this thing where we're just silent and recording. What are you doing?
Because I feel like the story, because that debate was such a weird trash fire.
Yes.
That maybe the story is now of, like, everybody going, oh, wait a minute. Hey, maybe this was all a terrible idea.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that.
Yeah.
That's what all of these panels are going to say. Van Jones saying something like, we can still change the party. That's his whole job, right? Is just to make it seem like we can, like, this man is the fucking elect president and the candidate. They are not swapping out the candidate. The way that he would not be the candidate is if tomorrow he dies because he's that sick, which I wouldn't actually be all that surprised by, considering what we witnessed on stage.
He really there was a point where he just kind of looked like he was wavering at the podium. And I'm like, we're gonna watch this man die. Like they forced a sick man out to do this, and he's gonna die from it.
Yeah. But the idea that they will, like, the Democratic Party will suddenly recognize the error of their ways when it has been completely clear from jump to anyone paying attention that what absolutely nobody wants in this country is a repeat of the last presidential election. You know, I feel like one thing that the Democratic Party is very good at is creating fan fiction for itself. And the fan fiction that this awfulness is going to somehow cause it so we have a different candidate in a few months is just not going to happen. But every single panel speaking right now is going to pretend like it can, because that's the game. So you don't need to follow it, because what they're the stories that they're telling right now are simply being told to play into what we want to hear.
Dan, I think they know.
Of course they know.
No, I mean, I think they the Democrats that led this, put together this particular shit package, watched tonight, went, yeah, we're gonna lose.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, we're about to lose.
Yeah. But you know what was also true before this? We were gonna lose. Like, yeah, it was not great. It was not great. If you enjoyed your night and didn't do what we did, I salute you. I think that you made the best possible choice you could make, and we made the worst possible choice we could make.
Dan, if the election was tomorrow, Trump would win. Like, that was...
Yeah, that was so much worse.
That was so much worse. Like, we
and
thought
not because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump was exactly what I expected.
It was exactly the same. Like, there was they just rolled out the same weird shit.
Yep.
But yeah. So I mean, it was so bad that I seriously considered going over to whatever the weird thing RFK was doing.
Yeah, it was not good.
My favorite quote on Twitter right now is someone said, "Watching Uncut Gems to relax."
I have been doing this entire recording sitting on the floor of my bedroom because the teen has a college friend staying at the house for a while, and teen lives in the same space that I normally record in. And I was like, I can't keep them out of their space, and I don't want to be doing this there. So I have been sitting on the floor of our bedroom using my kind of mobile recording rig, which means that I have to hand hold the mic. And I have just now unclenched the hand that was gripping the mic for 90 minutes. And when I finally released my fingers, they cracked. And like my hand is all red. I was gripping that mic so hard. It was like I was dangling from the edge of a cliff. It was the only thing that I could do to hang on to.
Let's see here. MSNBC's Nicole Wallach, quote, "You can't change a candidate, but you can. I mean, there were people talking about how that process works, and that conversation is live and active at the highest level of the Democratic Party."
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I don't know, Dan.
I do.
I know, but like,
this is like the marshals of the Supreme Court level fan fiction. You know, like, we lived this for 4 years. where pundits would get on TV and say, Donald Trump is leaving office. You know, this thing is the worst. He's gone. You know, we have it on good measure that he's out. And it's all the same shit. They are not replacing Joe Biden, the current president of the United States. Like, that's just not happening. I wish it was happening. Like, who would they replace him with? How would that work? The Democratic National Committee or the convention is in less than 2 months. Like, name me a candidate. Kamala Harris? Like, I haven't seen her in 3 years. Like, who? Buttigieg? Like, who are you replacing him with? There is no one. They have done nothing to cultivate a generation of possible candidates. So who would you suddenly slot in?
Dan, we are talking about this at 11 o'clock at night. Okay, here's what I say.
Yeah.
So they take Biden now.
Yeah.
And they like send it to some sort of juice spa. You know what I mean? Like someplace where they just give you like IVs all day of like nutrients and like massages for your temple and like steam baths and vitamins.
Yeah.
He just gets to rest.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice for all of us. We just all get a rest.
Yeah.
And then they like bring him back in a couple weeks and he's looking feistier because he's feeling better.
Yeah.
And people just act like this never happened.
I mean, possibly. There's supposed to be another debate in September. That should go great.
They're never going to do this again.
That'll move the needle.
They will never do this again. They will never, unless they're like, well, it can't go as bad as last time.
Oh, it will.
But I know that. But I mean, what if they'll say that though, right? Well,
I mean, they're delusional enough that they yes.
Well, you know, it can't go as bad as last time. This time we'll make sure he's okay.
Yeah. We were just doing a rope-a-dope thing. We want him to look extra weak, so come September we can really come in guns a-blazing.
Yeah. We wanted this to happen.
I mean,
we're gonna find out that he has some like horrific respiratory infection.
I mean, that was a desperately sick man.
He did not look well.
He was. I mean, I think the very first thing either you or I said was, "Why does he sound like this?"
Yes.
Like, this is a man who we have heard speak for basically our entire lives. I as an offshoot of the work that I've been doing with Aquila on the Rebel Spirit podcast, I ended up going down a very, very, very deep rabbit hole. With none of this has to do with this actual podcast, but of this real racist federal agent shit that went down from like the 80s to the 90s. And there was a congressional, the senatorial judiciary committee or whatever it is, had a hearing about it. And who's the head of that hearing? Joe Biden. And it's like 1992. And he's already been in, you know, like we have heard this man speak forever. There was something wrong with that man. Because like, I think my entire adult life, I've heard Joe Biden speak. And he has never spoken like that ever.
No. And also, let's just say that throughout all of that, the CNN moderators never pushed back on a single, like all they seemed to be there to do was try to be guardrails.
Yeah.
Like just keep them on time. Just repeat things and keep them on time.
Yeah.
They never pushed back against fat. So Trump was out there like they're eating babies with dipping sauce and I saw Joe Biden fuck your mom and like just like crazy shit.
Yeah.
And they were like, you have 47 seconds left. Is there anything else you'd like to say about his mom? And he's like, yeah, another thing about his mom.
Yep. There was a lot of stuff about Joe Biden's mom.
Dan, for all I know, there was, because it was very childish, a lot of it. Let us repeat again that they had an entire argument about golf when they were supposed to be talking about childcare.
I mean, at one point, one of them said, "We're not children here," and then the other one was like, "You're the child."
Yes. When asked about whether or not he would accept the results of the next election, I believe Trump then went on another rant of "You're the worst." No,
Yeah.
there was a poll and "You're the worst." No,
Yeah.
you're the worst. No, you're the worst. You guys, this all really happened, and it really genuinely was as bad as all of that. It was so much, so like, that's the thing about this is how it gets you. You always think it's going to be bad, but it's the way it's bad that always gets you.
Yeah, it's true.
Because that you think you know how it's going to be bad, and you think Trump's going to say stuff. And I thought the hard part was going to be just like hearing Trump say crazy things, and I'd be like, I was so used to not having to hear it. Now I have to hear it again. That's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't the weird death whispery voice thing that I was like, oh, so he's going to die possibly right now. And Trump's just going to get to run right over him and say all the crazy stuff he wants, and no one will stop him. No one's going to push back. No one's going to do anything because Biden has caught some terrible disease and like couldn't at points even like form words. Like he was clearly unwell.
He was extremely unwell. I mean, it really was like the caricature that has been created of him became sentient. Like if one were to find out that Joe Biden was backstage having been like knocked out with a vapors soaked rag, and they had replaced it with this sentient caricature, it'd be like, oh well, that makes sense.
I mean, we barely talked about abortion. There was just like weird stuff. We're not even going to get into the weird stuff that was said about quote black jobs.
Oh yeah,
whatever weird stuff. That it was. There was so it was like you didn't even know what you didn't know where to look.
Yeah. It was a shit show, Maureen. It was a full shit show.
You did not know where to look.
It was an absolute shit show.
Apparently, Biden just energetically rallied the crowd at an Atlanta watch party.
Oh, good.
Quote, that Joe Biden would have killed in that debate, Rachel Maddow says. But the Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage was about 90% more soft-spoken, and that in a monotone when you could discern him.
Yeah. I am willing to bet that he didn't really energetically rev up that crowd.
Unless he's been sniffing some rails back there. I mean, he does appear to be at a rally right now working the mic.
Good. Great. Thanks, Joe.
Glad
you found your first wind after the fact.
That was so bad.
That was really bad.
Now you said tonight that you think this is the worst thing we've ever done.
Yeah.
In the whole time that and again, we were live the night Trump won.
Yeah, but at least that started well. That night ended with you in a fetal position.
Yeah.
And looking up at me and going, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And just shutting off your mic.
Yeah.
But at least we had a plan. At least we knew what we were doing there.
Dan, I wandered outside and retched under a tree.
Well, but that was after. This was 90 minutes of us in just stunned silence.
All right, Dan, here's what I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Are you ready to be asked a question?
Sure.
Okay. It is June 27th.
Yeah.
The election is November
6th, I think.
Let's see here. 5th,
Okay.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we basically have all of July, August, September, October. So we have, oh no, sorry, wrong month. No, 5th. We
It's
have
fine.
4 months.
We're
We
good
have
enough.
four. We have 4 months. We have 4 months,
Okay.
Dan.
Yeah.
Who's gonna win?
Donald Trump. By a lot.
And why is that?
I think you just watched 90 minutes of why. But, you know, this was always going to be a hard election. Like, whoever was going to be in charge after the shutdown of the world from COVID was going to have a hard run, right? If you look at every other country, the same shit that is happening here is happening there. And it is actually happening worse other places.
Mm-hmm.
Inflation, unemployment, all of this stuff. So you were always going to come into a presidential run having some trouble because it was not going to be easy. Recovering from a full global shutdown, recovering from basically every single of the world's economies coming to a grinding halt, not to mention tens of millions of people dying and a extremely communicable disease continuing to circulate for years. It was always going to be a tricky run, you know, very easy for whatever candidate is running against you to say, you know, inflation went through the roof during your time, you know, all of this stuff. So you were always going to play this game in a very difficult level. But boy, he did that. Yeah, that's there's you. I don't even know.
Dan, I want to say that you are flopped down on the floor next to a bed.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a view of the sinker bedroom.
Yeah.
I am now all the way down.
Yeah, you are real slumped in your chair.
Like the two of us are as low to the floor as we can get.
Yeah.
While still being able to record.
Yeah.
Partially because it is now 11:15 at night.
Yeah.
And because we have watched I think my bones are definitely less dense now. Like I feel like calcium has been leached from my skeleton because I watched that.
I remember years and years and years ago, going out to brunch with some friends who were just a little bit older than Janice and I, but not a lot. But like they kind of had it a little more figured out. So like they owned a house and that kind of thing. And I remember they had gotten the house and we were eating and the guy was talking about all the problems in the house. And he went, yeah, it's killing me. And I went, oh, in what way? And he just looked at me, went, in the way that it's actively shortening the lifespan. And that's how I feel about tonight.
That guy rules.
Tonight is killing me in the way that it's actively shortening my lifespan.
I don't think my lifespan will be shorter, but I think my actual skeleton will be. Like, I think that I've lost bone density and like I'm going to live just as long, but I'm going to be very frail. And if you even say something mean to me, one of my teeth will fall out or one of my fingers will snap off.
Perhaps you'll look with your mouth gaping open into the lower corner of this room and just go, huh? Huh?
Let's just say that one of the things you really need to count on is a big youth turnout.
Yeah.
And if any young people just watch that, and bless them if they did, like if people were tuning in at colleges and stuff,
Yeah.
they were taking some huge rips off the bong if they were,
Yeah.
because they're like, nah, no, no,
No.
no.
I mean, any undecided voter watch that and I don't think is undecided now.
All right, everyone, let's go knock on some doors.
Oh boy. I cannot underscore just how great a day I had. I'm wearing my favorite shirt. Like,
Aw,
it's
look
just
at
a
that.
good day today.
Yeah.
And this is how it ended.
Mm.
Doesn't feel fair.
I feel happy because it's over, and I know like it's been a looming all day, but now I've seen it and I don't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah. The problem is, I think you do have to still deal with it.
I don't think so.
Like that.
I don't think there's actually going to be repercussions.
Yes, definitely. Definitely that debate is not a debate that has repercussions. Nope. Easy. All right. I feel like we got to somehow leave people on a better note than this.
How?
I don't know. This has been the town. No, this has been See You Tomorrow. This has been Says Who.
Hold on. I'm just checking to see if
Don't stop checking.
I'm not going to stop checking.
What do you think checking is going to do for you?
I'm going to learn stuff.
I mean, is it the only way? Like, if you checked and you came back and you're like, oh my God, guess what? He died. I mean, the one thing I will give Joe Biden. That man would love to die campaigning. That's his whole thing.
Well, I guess luckily that's going to happen.
What you love, my guy. Do it. Happy to let you live that dream out.
Someone at the Daily Beast, Jill Swiss, wrote, if you commit a small crime like shoplifting or fishing without a license, your punishment should have to be to watch this debate again.
Oh, Lord.
It was
all right.
It was really
bad.
Really hard to watch. Like so much of it was just, I just sat there just mouth open in huge shock at the weird whisper voice of it all.
My one regret about, my second regret. My first regret was doing this at all.
Right.
My second regret was not recording the debate with video on.
Right. Because a lot of it was in the expressions.
A lot of it was real silent, and I think would have worked well as video. But I didn't do that, so apologies again for the Town Watch this week.
The Democrats they had a ready pre-tweet, and it just says, the winner of tonight's debate, and then a smiley face with sunglasses on, and then a picture of Joe Biden smiling with sunglasses on.
Yep, definitely.
Cool.
Well done. Well played, everyone.
Cool.
The kids love it.
That's all really right. Cool.
Says Who is made possible by
Stay away from, although Biden did call Trump a whiner a bunch. You're a whiner.
He's a whiner.
You're a whiner. That was fun. That was pretty fun. I liked that.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was like trying to find something to eat, and like it was like we were walking through like a weird trash alley, and you're like, "Hey, I found a tomato." Like you were just like trying to find something to pick up that you could eat that didn't poison you, and just I found this can.
All right, here's the deal. Says Whovians. You have a real bad episode of the Town Watch on Sunday that you probably shouldn't listen to, but you should continue to contribute because we do love you. And then we will be back next Tuesday with a real, actual episode of Says Who again. And I'm sure everything will be fine and great, and there won't have been any real major problems to come out of this debate. How about that? That's what I'm going with.
It's fine.
This has been Says Who.
I need to float down from the ceiling, get back into my body, but I don't want to.
No, don't.
I don't think I should.
There's nothing good in there anymore.
I don't want to get back in there.
No, just stay.